are we doing today, Kevin? We're not streaking.
Talking
About
who
what?
should have broken
The
streak.
Hey!
Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania should have been broken by somebody other than Brock Lesnar. This is 5 reasons why Mick Foley should have broken the streak.
Oh.
I hate
Oh,
this.
shit.
I don't like this idea.
That is a fucking lie, sir.
You may continue.
Already.
Just for the record, when we do this, there's no communication. Whoever's picks the guy. The other two have no idea. So this is legit. This is wow. Okay.
I've heard, and he's heard, that the decision to break the streak was made 4 hours before the match. The decision...
This decision was made 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, like, not even 4 hours
Literally,
before.
leading up to this segment, he just thought, "Holy, okay,
Yep.
all right."
Reason number 1. Mick Foley, maybe as the Mankind persona, needs to make up for getting thrown off the Hell in a Cell. This is a moment that gets shown on every biggest moments in WWE history highlight reel of all time. You have to think somewhere in the back of Mankind's deranged, twisted head, he needs to get revenge for this moment. Never really did. Maybe breaking the streak will make up for Undertaker trying to break him in half.
It's a very sound reason. I'll take.
You can go, because
All right.
you're the...
Next closest.
Just wanted to make sure I wasn't stepping on your toes. Reason number 2, almost kind of playing off of what you were talking about. You know, the history that these two have. Not only the Hell in a Cell, but the fact that there was the issues with Paul Bearer, there were the issues with Kane. There were Mankind's first major storyline was with the Undertaker.
Absolutely.
There's so much rich history between these two, and if you can imagine the classic matches they've had, whether it was the Hell in a Cell, whether it was the Boiler Room Brawl,
Buried Alive.
the Buried Alive matches, all these matches that they've had at these different pay-per-views, if you had Mick Foley and you said, hey, Mick Foley, this probably would have been Mick Foley's last match. Because we know that Mick Foley can't wrestle right now. But if you were to tell Mick Foley that his last match ever was going to be at WrestleMania and was going to break the streak, can you imagine what these two would have done to each other? Knowing the history that they've come from.
They may have both died.
They both possibly could have. I mean, obviously none of us would want to see them die, but these two would have gone above and beyond the Call of Duty to make one of the most epic WrestleMania matches we could have ever seen. This would have been on the same level as maybe Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, but in a hardcore aspect.
Yeah.
So it would have been still very intense, but on a much more violent level.
Liken it a lot more to the Triple H Undertaker matches.
A little bit.
They were a lot more violent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And less flashy than the Shawn Taker matches.
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely on that same wavelength, but in a whole different light, because you'd have so much brutality in this match, whether it was the thumbtacks, the barbed wire, fire if they let them do it, the table spots they could have done, just anything, any sick idea that Mick Foley could have come up with, you know the Undertaker would have been, you know what, this is WrestleMania, let's just fucking go for it.
Yep. Back to...
Oh, yeah.
Reason number 3. First thing I did in reason number 1 was to jump to the Hell in a Cell match with Mankind. First thing you did in your reason was talk about the rich history between Undertaker and Mankind. My reason number 3, Dude Love and Cactus Jack.
Oh, Dark Horse.
2 things that we really never saw interact with Undertaker.
Ooh.
I mean, Dude Love was in that era of when Undertaker and Mankind were beefing.
But was always kept with the Stone Cold storyline.
Basically.
Yeah.
So, you know, the fact that I said Mick Foley, it would be able to bring out different lights of Mick Foley. Different characters could be involved in this. You know, and it could have ended up that Undertaker could be going against Cactus Jack at WrestleMania. You know, which I think if you put Undertaker versus Mankind, Undertaker versus Cactus Jack, Undertaker versus Dude Love, Undertaker versus Mick Foley, you have 4 completely different matches.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if, you know, we've seen him do this a couple times, once on the Royal Rumble and once on Raw, where we've seen all the different faces of Foley together. Can you imagine if he kind of evolved through all 4 of them throughout, like, the entirety of this match? Like, maybe, you know, happy-go-lucky Dude Love comes out first and just gets destroyed, which kind of makes him, you know, lose his shit, and he ends up becoming one of those deranged characters and moves on, and eventually it is Mick Foley who ends up beating the streak.
Exactly. I'm saying the difference of the dynamic. I would love to see Undertaker Cactus Jack.
Oh, yeah.
At some point.
Yes.
I mean, Cactus Jack was a gimmick they kept so limited once he brought it to WWE that basically, I mean, it was there for the Outlaws feud with him and Terry Funk, and a little bit feuding with Triple H.
Yeah.
But that was basically all that Cactus Jack did in WWE.
Yeah, Cactus Jack was strictly the Japan WCW, ECW.
Yeah, and they brought him back for that one Taboo Tuesday match.
Oh, yeah, they did. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so you're getting the possibility of saying, okay, we're going to have a Mania build-up with Foley and Taker. It's 4 completely different build-ups, depending on which way they decide to go with it. You know? Infinite number of build-ups. Because of the way the characters can interchange, how he can be like one guy one week, the other guy the next week. You know? Basically, the idea being, what if at the end result is a fusion of all of them? Where you get Foley using aspects of all 3 of his other personas versus The Undertaker at the same time. You know? So, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Dude Love and Cactus Jack are my reason number 3.
All right.
And the reason number 4, let's talk about the build-up. I mean, I'm pretty sure we've discussed this as a reason in most of the preview. And at least 2 out of the 3 that we've done. There would be the potential for, you know, one week he comes out as Cactus Jack, one week he comes out as Mankind, one week he comes out as Dude Love, maybe another week he comes out as just Mick Foley, kind of talking about, you know, Taker, there's a lot of faces with Mankind, and you don't know which one you're going to get at WrestleMania. But while the faces of Mick Foley may change, the passion doesn't. I just recently rewatched his promo from around the time he was feuding with Flair, or started to feud with Flair.
Oh, that really personal one they did?
Yeah.
Like 2007?
Yeah.
2006, 2007? Yeah.
Yeah, that one, and the one where he kind of denounces his hardcore roots. Mick Foley brings a level of passion when he speaks that few other wrestlers match. Not like a Shawn Michaels passion where it's that I love this business. I mean, Foley loves this business, but it's a different kind of passion where Foley's, I've bled for this business more than anyone. I've sacrificed for this business more than anyone, and I'm still here to try to have my one moment and beat The Undertaker. So reason number 4 is we would have one of the most passionate matches that I think would be heartbreaking either way it went.
Wow.
I feel it would be on that level of Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, one of these things is going to end, and regardless of what it is, it's going to be sad.
Yeah.
Hell, and if it was Mick Foley's last match, both would have ended.
Right.
And it would have been twice as sad.
Right. Well, the thing would be, the way I'm looking at it, no one's really going to think of Foley as a failure. No one does. But the way
stupid people.
But the way they would build it up would be, you know, if Foley loses this match, he has no real accomplishments. I mean, sure, a couple world titles here and there, but nothing that Foley has that's unique. He hasn't really broken any records. He hasn't really done any one specific thing of note.
He'd be known as the glorified stuntman.
Right. So it would be, Foley, this can be your moment, but if you have your moment, Undertaker loses his streak. If Undertaker keeps his streak, you will never have your moment.
So going back to the Ric Flair Shawn Michaels thing, it would have been that, Shawn Michaels had the conflict within himself that he didn't want to end Ric Flair's career, but he is Mr. WrestleMania. He couldn't not deliver a great match based on the fact that he loved Ric Flair as much as he did. Whereas Mick Foley loves the business and wants to prove something for himself, but there's also the mystique of the streak that he wouldn't want to
tarnish.
Yeah.
That's...
Well, and it's just, like, being a fan and watching it, I wouldn't want to see either thing happen.
Absolutely not.
Like, the streak would be over. But then that would be it. We were all heartbroken when the streak ended.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the best way to describe it.
I used a whole roll of tape
to
fix my heart.
Mostly...
Still not fixed.
I mean, mostly because of who did it, but also because the streak was over. And no matter who did it, that would be our feeling.
Yeah.
The streak is over. But it would also be heartbreaking as a fan to see Mick Foley fail to break the streak. And that would be that would put so much riding on this match. Because either result's going to be bittersweet for the competitors and for the fans.
Absolutely.
I dig it. Kevin?
Reason number 5. The match itself, you think, depending on what era it's going in, could be really, really good, could be bad. Either way, I figure there's going to be a stipulation on the match.
Absolutely.
Reason number 5 is the possibility of the different match stipulations that it could be in. A lot of people are even rumoring right now. There's an article I read that's talking about that Undertaker is possibly thinking about having his last match at this upcoming WrestleMania.
Yeah.
The streak is over, and we need one more match to go out on, kind of thing. It's going to be Undertaker's first WrestleMania match in about a decade that isn't revolved around the streak being broken.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of people saying that it's a possibility that Mick might come out of retirement to have one last match. Nowadays, you'd have to put a stipulation on that match for it to hold up to anything, really.
Yeah.
Because obviously these two guys wouldn't be able to perform on the level they did 15, 20 years ago. And think of them back 15, 20 years ago in their prime. Add the Hell in a Cell again. Let's do Hell in a Cell 2.
This time, Taker gets thrown off.
Yeah. You do Hell in a Cell 2. Do another Buried Alive. Do a casket match. Do a Last Man Standing match. Do something.
Do all of them.
Just combined.
Big mixed stipulation match.
A last casket standing in a cell match.
Yeah.
Death match.
You have to...
It would be a death match.
It's a Buried Alive match in a cell where you have to put your opponent in a casket and bury them, but they have 10 seconds to dig their way out.
Death match. That's what I said.
Yeah.
I was just explaining the rules.
Alright, fair enough.
Yeah, that there's going to be one of these big-time stipulations added onto this match. No matter if it was that era or this era, or any time in between. You're going to have it. It's going to be a hardcore match. It's going to be a street fight. It's going to be a Hell in a Cell. It's going to be a First Blood. It's going to be something, And that just brings that much more openness to the realm of the match. Mm-hmm. It's like Undertaker's early initial WrestleMania matches were good. And then you had his match with the casket match with Mark Henry.
Yeah.
Opened up a whole new realm, kind of, because there was no disqualification.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's so much more done. I guess you could go back farther than that. WrestleMania 17, his match with Triple H.
Yeah.
Yeah, they knocked down
Where
the
they-
ref and they just went everywhere.
They went everywhere in the arena.
Yeah.
You
That
know?
was a good match.
And then you had the Wrestling Classics against Shawn. But then you went the next year and you had that no holds barred fight between him and Triple H.
Yeah.
You know, we see that Undertaker operates really well with these chances.
Yeah.
And that you don't get a lot of Mania time pulling this off. Where a lot of Mania is just like, here it is, it's the big moment in the ring.
Right.
Where it's obvious now they're not afraid to like move it up the stage, into the crowd, on the tables, that kind of stuff. That kind of, it needs to have that big fight feel,
Yeah.
you know, to make it feel like they're really trying to do everything they can to pull this off.
And knowing, you know, based on that, knowing how well Undertaker works within the realm of a stipulation.
Yeah.
And knowing that that's what Mick Foley made his WWE career on.
Oh, yeah.
Was being
I-
a hardcore legend.
I definitely
These two would
foresee,
tear each other apart, and it would be epic.
Yeah, I definitely, picturing this match, envision a choke slam onto Tax on the top of the stage. Something, you know, that...
Makes my back hurt just thinking about it.
Right, like that intense, though.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So there you have it. Ladies and gents, thank you for watching the top 5 reasons why Mick Foley should have ended the streak. Way better than Brock Lesnar.
Way better than Brock Lesnar.
Way better than Brock Lesnar.
If you have other reasons why Mick Foley or anybody else should have ended the streak, post down in the comments below.
Let us know who you think it should have been.
Yeah, give us some ideas, and we may even talk about one of your fan-submitted ideas on who should have ended the streak.
Yeah, that...
If you think Brock Lesnar should have ended the streak, write in the comments and we'll block you.
Yep.
For
No,
being
we'll just-
wrong.
No, we won't block you.
We'll make fun of you.
We'll just rip you
feverishly.
apart on the
We'll
next
just tell you
episode.
how wrong you are.
Yeah.
You know what we'll do? We're not even going to tell you how wrong we are. If you post it, we're just going to respond by posting a video of Edge's wrong song.
Yeah.
Oh, I might even put a link in the description of that anyway.
Please do. It's an annotation hidden somewhere up here.
That's going to be Kevin Hawk's secret annotation of the week.
Oh, do I get a secret annotation for
Well,
the week now?
You got one last week. And,
Oh, this is going to be a thing.
It might be. But we got one more segment this week. We got the SmackDown rundown coming up. So go ahead and click down to that. If you want to check out any of the other videos, we got the Raw review, we got the indie news, we got the midweek wrap up. You can rewatch who should have ended the streak again. But we will see you at the SmackDown rundown.
I might be sleeping.